I asked ChatGPT the 10 best ways to study for the SAT, and today I'll be ranking ChatGPT's responses to help you understand best ways to study and maximize your score for the SAT. Number 1, SAT books. Now, there are many books out there designed to help you prepare for the SAT, like Princeton Review and Kaplan. While it's not free, it's still relatively inexpensive, and anyone with even a small budget can afford many of these books. However, they don't really help you learn more and help you progress so you can have a higher and higher score. It's good in the beginning when I first got Princeton Review and I took one of its practice tests to just see as a diagnostic how I would score. After that, I didn't use Princeton Review just because it doesn't help with increasing your score. It's good as a first starter, but you don't actually learn the skills and give you the resources necessary to get a higher and higher score. And so for this reason, I'm going to give it a C tier. Now, number 2 is Khan Academy. On the opposite and contrary to these SAT prep books, Khan Academy is completely free and it's all online, which means with just a single click, you can have access to all of the resources that it has, which is quite a lot. Now, there are several reasons why I like Khan Academy. It has its own specific digital SAT practice area, so you can practice exactly how the digital SAT would look like. But in addition to that, Khan Academy also has an option to practice specific topic areas. So if there are subjects that you aren't that familiar with, you can practice that in Khan Academy, where it will give you specific questions on that specific topic area to help you master it. And so for those reasons, I'm going to give it a B tier. Number 3, official SAT practice tests. These tests are by College Board themselves, which means they'll either use questions that were from previous tests or similarly worded questions to help you understand how the test would be like. That's why, for example, every Saturday, what I would do when I was studying for the SAT would just take one of these practice tests and exactly simulate what the actual SAT would look like. If you want a link to some of these resources and these practice tests, you can just look down below in the description where I've linked a variety of practice tests because it's official and helps you simulate really well what these tests will actually look like. I'm going to give it an S tier. Number 4, prep courses. These are classes like Princeton Review, which will go over their own book or maybe lecture on a few topics to help you prepare for the SAT. And there are a few reasons I don't like this. First, it's really expensive, which means not everyone can afford it. They usually don't teach enough content or something that you wouldn't learn otherwise. Many of the things you could learn could be just read from the book themselves or through Khan Academy, which are both free and inexpensive resources. And they may not actually help the things that you need help with. And so because they're expensive and not the most helpful, I'm going to give it a D tier. On to number 5, private tutoring. Now, just like prep courses, private tutoring is extremely expensive. But unlike prep courses, private tutoring provides individualized learning. They can also help you study better, set up a better schedule, or create better study habits for yourself as kind of a mentor to help you on your studying journey. Now, there are a few things, however, that make private tutoring a big problem. First, it's really expensive, even more expensive than these classes, because often tutors will charge extra for this individualized care. But second of all, these tutors, you have to find an experienced tutor, which can be difficult. And so because it's really expensive and it's really hard to get a trustworthy tutor, I'm going to give it a C tier. Number 6, studying groups. They're distracting and you waste a lot of time. Sure, you may work with your friends and it may be free, but in reality, you don't actually get much done. I mean, just think about it. When was the last time you had a group project and you actually got a lot of work done? The reality is there will always be that one kid that's on Instagram or is playing games, which will not only be distracting himself, but also bringing down the rest of the group. In general, having the long 3-hour sessions or however long you would like to study with a friend or a group of friends isn't the right strategy, because many of the times you guys will be stuck on different things and you guys will rarely have questions to ask each other. And so once again, this is an F tier. Number 7, flashcards. These are also pretty bad because there are only a few times where you actually need to use flashcards. The thing with flashcards is they help you memorize specific stuff, but besides that, there are a few instances where you actually need to memorize specific wordings or phrases, or there are better studying ways to remember besides creating flashcards, which you'll probably use once. And so for that reason, I'll give it a D tier. Number 8 is reading and writing practice. Now, usually I would encourage reading books as a good thing to, in general, have a better understanding of the world, to maybe learn new things. For the SAT, I wouldn't recommend it as much, simply because you don't need to designate your entire studying session to reading a book. It can definitely be helpful reading a historical narrative or a scientific research paper to help get an understanding of maybe some of the slang they use, some of their structure, but besides that, I wouldn't make it a highlight. And so for this reason, I'm going to give it a B tier. Now, number 9 is time management. It's really important to practice how long it takes for you to finish the questions and for you to finish your practice session to make sure it's under the actual time. So that on the actual SAT, you have more time, less stress, and it'll help you simulate and transition to the actual SAT. For example, like I said before, what I'll do every Saturday, wake up the same time and take a practice test so that just when the test day came by, I was completely ready and prepared. And so I'll make this an important part of your studying, and so that's why I give it an A tier. Number 10 is reflective studying. Now, reflective studying is where you review your questions that you got wrong. For example, after you maybe did a writing section, you not only check your answers and see what you got wrong, but you specifically understand why you got it wrong. Maybe if there's patterns, like you got a certain question wrong or a certain genre of questions wrong. Through this, you can isolate the topics that you need to cover and go by them one by one, maybe using things like Khan Academy to specifically isolate and solve those mistakes. But the best thing you can do is prepare yourself in every single topic to become well-rounded so that when you actually take the SAT, you'll be able to learn from your mistakes and so that you'll be well prepared. Because reflective studying is important in correcting your mistakes and getting better one subject at a time, I will be giving this an S tier. I hope this gave you a better idea of the best ways as well as which study methods you should try to avoid.